Shalom, aloha, shalom ha, Shabbat shalom. What is Shabbat? Shabbat is a unification of the worlds within and without. Shabbat is a transcendence of duality back to the world of oneness, celebrating that oneness. So I love Shabbat, and I'm very excited that I can do this reading on Shabbat, because it just elevates the whole day even more. It's like extra fun when it's aligned with Shabbat. So today feels like a fun, light day. Thanks for tuning in for the reading, guys. I'm excited to have you here with me so that we can do this together. So while people are tuning in, and once you're tuned into the video, really here, just connect to the deck. So first you got to create that space, right? You have to empty what you've been carrying. You have to let go of what you've been carrying. Ask it to take a seat. That's how we can empty ourselves and create a space for the wisdom to be received. If we have too much going on, we're not going to hear it. We're not going to be a clear antenna. So let's do this together. Let's make our collective antenna super tuned in by just meeting each other in that place outside of time and space that is in the very center of your heart. When you're there, I'll meet you there. Go ahead and connect to the deck. So right now we're at the final quarter of the moon, which is just another reflection of a much deeper unfolding of our monthly cycle as a collective consciousness. What that means is we're at the fourth and final part. So last week was the full moon, which was just a reflection that the whole picture has been shown to us of what the theme of the cycle was, all that's been going on this month. That was fully revealed to us, nothing hidden from our sight. So with that information, we spent the last week integrating, just kind of letting that sink in and thinking of all of the ways that we're going to be changing our lives and how that's going to affect us in the next cycle, the upcoming cycle. So today, we're going to ask, and I give thanks in advance for the clarity on what we're asking here. We're going to ask that we just kind of sum up this cycle, see what we've made out of it, and how that's going to be carried into the next cycle. How can we best prepare this week for the new cycle on its way? That begins today, the preparation for that. So we're in between worlds right now. We're stepping out of the last cycle and preparing to step into the new. So this week is kind of if you look at next week as the new moon, you can see that this week is about the conception of what is to come. It's the dark side of it, the shadow side, the behind the scenes preparation for the birth of this new cycle 1 week from today. Okay. Okay. All right, beginning with what is the gem that we made of this whole cycle? What has it all been for? What are we putting in our pocket as a tool that we've now acquired, but are going to be able to give it a rest when we step into the new cycle? What is that thing that we've obtained? And it's like an award that goes on the wall, like it's an achievement, and it's always there for when we may need it in the future, but it's something that we're also going to be letting go of to make space for the next cycle to come. And this is the Six of Wands, and this energy has definitely been present. It's been coming up again and again, not just necessarily as a tarot card, but all around in life. I'm seeing the signs of this lesson, this wisdom everywhere. And the archetypal wisdom that comes with this card is all about victory. The Wands is the suit of fire and spirit. So this is a victory of the spirit. This lesson is all about making sure that the road to success is a virtuous road. It's a virtuous path. Making whatever refinements we have to make. This is what the cycle has been about. We have been making those refinements that needed to be made in order to ensure that what it is we're wanting is aligned with the highest good of the one. And the path to get to it is virtuous, so that once we obtain that thing, it is an achievement for one and all, and so it feels good for us all the way through and through, for ourselves and for the greater self. And we also won't have to compromise any parts of ourself to get there. We've been making sure, purifying our path, making sure that where we're headed is in a direction that is really good for everyone. So what I've seen a lot this week has been, and even this whole cycle has been, a lot of people letting go of things they thought they wanted because ultimately there was no way to get to that without doing the wrong thing or stepping away from that virtuous path. So that became a very quick and easy thing to let go of for a lot of people. Many things became easy to let go of during this cycle. And I see how many people were letting go of guilt and shame around trying to cut corners or get what they wanted in a way that wasn't the most fair. A lot of people waking up to the understanding that the journey is what it's all about. That if you're not doing the right thing along the way, if the path to get to what you want is not virtuous, chances are what you're wanting is not virtuous and is not for the highest good. A lot of people realizing that it doesn't feel good to cheat my way to such and such a goal. And that's beautiful. So much purification, so much honesty and vulnerability, and so much transformation coming from that. So that's what this cycle has been about. And as we do the integration and we prepare for the new cycle, we're letting go of this and creating space for the future, which is going to look like this. The Knight of Swords is in the future. Knights are action. Knights are fire. Swords is the mind, it's air. So this is the Fire of Air card, taking action upon a thought or idea or belief system. Moving ahead, progressing with an idea or a new way of looking at things. Expressing our truth, taking action upon our truth, perhaps newly developed truths as we consider all that we've learned this cycle. So that's just like a little peek into the future, just a little mental note to make, because we're going to be meeting again a week from today and we'll see how this unfolds. So the current challenge of the week, which, when I say challenge, it doesn't have to be difficult. That's all up to our perspective on it and what we make of the experience. So that's why this is actually very helpful, to get to understand what energies are even present so that we can feel confident in our position as we move through this field in this time and space. So that being said, the challenge, which becomes a gift as we move through it. Yes, I felt this so much. This came up. If you've been following the readings and staying tuned, you'll see that this has definitely been an energy this past cycle. And so it looks like this is going to carry us through to the next. And this is the 7 of the Major Arcana. It's a powerful card, one of the most powerful of the deck. And it's all about ascension and forward movement. So it looks like this is the challenge and gift. What does that mean as far as the challenge? How is this going to be the challenge of the week? It's going to be about trusting that all the work that we're doing right now and the deep transformation that's happening is for our highest good and the highest good of the one. It's growth. To keep this momentum going and ride that wave. Don't back down now. Don't even pretend that this is small because you're afraid or because there's too much changing all at once. Nah, sink into that. Welcome that. Be extra. Be extra. But really, remember what's happening right now. And it's interesting because we have the 6 and then we have the 7 right next to it. So it's like all this true victory that we're aligning ourselves with right now. Look, we're already there because the work that we've just done this cycle in realigning ourselves to make sure that we're walking that virtuous path and refining what it is we even want and consider a true victory for one and all, doing all that stuff, it's like we've already done 99% of the work. The 1% now is just hanging on, believing, and ascending, rising, transcending situations now. That's going to be what we're experiencing. We've done the learning, we've done the work, we've conceived of it on the inner realm, and now it's time to bring it into manifestation. So we're moving from the 6 to the ultimate 7, ascension, ascension, ascension. You better believe that everything you did is going to bring you this major shifting right now. Because when you aligned yourself with what true victory looks like, and you bring yourself back to that that virtuous path, the power that supports you is infinitely abundant. It's from an infinite source. Spirit is infinite. So when you tap into that, all of the support that you need, everything you need is brought to you to complete your mission. So you better expect that those opportunities are going to be thrown at you right now. They're going to be coming at you left and right. Opportunities for growth, ascension, transcendence, rising above old situations that maybe, you're going to be presented with the same situations for a little bit as we move toward the next cycle. There's some residue from the old, and it's going to look like this. Opportunities knocking, saying, hey, cut this corner with me. Hey, let's lie to this person because it's just going to get us that much farther, and they won't know, and it won't hurt them. Like, little opportunities to step off of the virtuous path are going to be present. And the only way that we will get past that is when we transcend all of it. We transcend all of it and we rise above, and we remember what we're doing right now is ascending. It may look like a step backwards to the ego mind or to people around us who are reflecting those parts of the ego mind that are still inside of ourselves. Those reflections of the past will try to hold on. And it's perfect because they're giving you opportunities to play with this life ritual and change your response, shift your response, and perform the alchemy. Without the opportunity, we can't perform the magic. So good. Welcome those challenges. And now respond differently. Show yourself, show the universe that you learned for real, that there is no cutting corners on this path. At the moment you step off of that virtuous path, you better really look deeply within yourself to see if where you were headed was even the right direction anyway. So whenever you get those opportunities to transcend your old ways, be excited about them. Remember that even though you might feel scared and like it might feel like taking a step backwards, those doubts will quickly diminish when you repeat, like a parent to a young child, over and over. Inside your inner dialogue, you repeat to yourself, I'm ascending right now. I'm transcending right now. It may seem like I'm not going to get as much money, or I'm not going to get as many things. Maybe not right away, but why are you even thinking about that? Because ultimately that will come. The abundance in money, in love, in health, in happiness, all that will come. Not a one on a pedestal. All of the abundance will be yours if you focus on this step right now and you stay on the path and you remember that the changes you're making will bring you a way more sustainable abundance. You've got to do what is right for you. All of the realigning you just did, all of the goals that you've just reviewed and reset and refined, those are the right ones. So remind yourself, hey, I just did some major shifting. I reset what my goals are, I refine them, so I must refine my response. I must shift and tweak my response if I wish to see the manifestation of those goals be exactly what I want it to be. We are ascending right now. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Don't play small. Don't back down. Stay big with your spirit. Your aura is expanding. Own that. Love that. See that. Be excited about that. Be grateful. Rip out of your shell. Don't just crack it. Don't be afraid. The world you've been waiting for is on the other side. So that's the challenge and the gift this week, is really transcending, really not giving in to those situations that want to pull us down or are provoking us to cut corners, enticing us. And hey, not being judgy about those aspects either. We love them because they are opportunities to perform the alchemy necessary. The devil is only there to show us who we really are, to give us opportunities to reflect and make the changes necessary. And that's what that is. So when those opportunities come up, remember that virtuosity, doing the right thing will always be the sustainable choice for one and all. And the ally to help us through as we move through this time of the chariot, major ascension, whoa, woo, this is freaking fun, but can be a little scary sometimes. So what's the ally for that? The 10 of Pentacles. And this is powerful. This has been coming up a lot in our readings over the last few cycles. This one was really big, this whole past cycle, we really started off with envisioning a new idea of what prosperity is for one and all, envisioning abundance for one and all. We've been really playing with a new idea of what that means to us, what that really means to us. And so as we move through this, it's so clear. I already said all this, and it's being confirmed that the ally is, as we move through this and we need to transcend and stay on the virtuous path, even though it might seem like we're not getting as much done right away. It's not going to be instant gratification with some things, okay? So when we feel that doubt, or we want to go back to cutting corners, and we feel like sinking into sin in whatever way, big or small, we remember why we're doing this. For true prosperity for one and all. It doesn't matter what the ego mind tells us. What we really all want is an abundance of health and happiness. We want to be prosperous in our heart. That is what we really want for ourselves and for everyone around us. And that's the theme of this card. It's an ending and a new beginning, a fresh chance at a cycle of manifesting fullest prosperity for one and all. So when we remember that, we can't cut corners. We're like, yo, if we really want to show that we already learned this last cycle, if we really want all that work to be for something, which we do, that's why we're on this path. If we want to show that we learned this lesson, then we cannot forget why we are majorly transforming right now and ascending right now. Why are we doing this work? To transcend our old ways and to just do the right thing. How can we trust that it will all pay off? Because look to nature, because look at the seasons, look at the cycles. There's a time for work and there's a time for harvest. And you've got to know this and you've got to trust this. And the only thing in the way is yourself. So as we move through this and we're faced with these challenges to transcend and always stick to what is simple, what is true, what is right, we can remember that we're doing it for the long run. We're doing it for the full long run vision and manifestation of prosperity for one and all. It's the only real way. It's the only real way. And even if there's somebody watching this right now and says, that can't be the only way. Well, why would it be so bad to brainwash oneself to believe that? That the only way for me to truly do my service and my part in ensuring the manifestation of everyone's prosperity is in following a virtuous path and always choosing to be virtuous over these provocative, opportunities to sin. That cannot be a bad thing, to brainwash oneself in such a simple way, just simply saying again and again to oneself until it completely takes over that, hey, the answer is always do the right thing. The answer is always the virtuous one. How can that be wrong? How can that be wrong? So from every angle, it's like, this is such an easy way to fill our minds with a beautiful, simple, sort of a mantra that acts like an umbrella where it encompasses so many other things that if we tried to focus on all of those things, we would lose ourselves. It would be overwhelming. If we just only focused on this one mantra alone and replaced all of our shit that we're carrying with this simple phrase of, all I need to know is that I always should do the right thing. Stay on the virtuous path. Stay on the virtuous path each moment. That's it. Focus on the virtues. If all we ever did was cycle this through our being, this awareness of the virtuous path, the virtues, we would have it all. Because what is the meaning of life other than to reach this embodiment of ultimate compassion, right? The golden rule, whatever religion or culture or peoples you'll study, everybody comes to the same truth because it's in our heart, because of our oneness and our interconnectivity, that this is the ultimate thing, to embody that fullest compassion, to feel the unification of spirit within us, to embody that and actualize a world made of that understanding. That's why we're here. And if the virtues are like the rivers that lead to the ocean of compassion, then what else do we really need to know and focus on? Sure, we can say that there are many lessons in life, but I'm telling you that all those lessons can be summarized in the categories of these virtues. They all umbrella so many topics. They all encompass so many concepts. It just helps to simplify it all and depersonalize our story into these main lessons that are the virtues, which are reflected in the Ten Commandments, which are reflected in the Emerald Tablets and the laws of hermetics. It's all the same thing. These are simple ways that we can access profound guidance. So, if all we remember is that we have to be virtuous, and each moment there's a virtuous option, and we choose that, then we will be good to go. Then all of our accomplishments will be sustainable in a way that's for the highest good of one and all. So, let's remember this. Let's remember this true prosperity. The way to get there, in times when we feel like we don't know how to get there, the answer is always the same. The virtuous path. How many opportunities can we find to be a virtuous embodiment? What does that mean, to be a virtuous embodiment? To embody the all-virtuous light of ultimate compassion, which is the light, the original emanation that is behind all things. It's beyond the light of the sun. It's the original light. So if we want to be like that light, if we want to be filled with that light, then our fastest way to do that is to embody the virtues, to open up to the light, the partial light of that one light, each of them being the different virtues. So it's like, how can I scout my environment in the setting of my life, relationships, jobs, interactions in general, nature? How can I look to everything going on inside of myself and around me and make the most out of this life experience by seeing where I can do virtuous service? It's like a game. How honest can I be? How helpful can I be? How inclusive can I be? How patient can I be? And then when you make this a game, everything's so much fun. Everything becomes so much fun, especially the challenges, because you're like, oh, I set that up so I can give the most of my virtuous self. Because if we don't have these challenges, if we don't have these opportunities, then these virtues and these lights are not, they don't have a vessel. They don't have an opportunity to express themselves. So we love that. We love every single opportunity, however challenging or not. That's all our human judgment. But we love every opportunity to open up to the virtues. It helps us to relax because we can get out of our own heads and stop trying to think that we micromanage everything here. We can just kind of open up and feel good immediately and allow that light to come in and do the work for us, because that's what it does. We actually make it much more complicated. So it's like, how can I open up to that bliss right here, right now, and find... Sorry guys, I was receiving a weird call there. I don't know how that happened. How can I feel so good right now and find my salvation in each moment in diving into surrender to the virtues and being on this path of service? I don't need to live on an ashram. I don't need to. I can. I don't need to work in a service industry. Everything is service. All of life is a service. Everything is relationship. Everything is oneself. So even my relationship with myself, I can serve myself in ways that are for the highest good of the one. In Hebrew, there's a word, lishma, and this means for the creator. So everything should be lishma, for the creator. It's either lishma or lo lishma. Everything is either good for the creator or not. So every moment is an opportunity for me to align my thoughts and my actions in a way that is in service of the highest good of the one. If that means just being silent and meditating, then that's a service that I'm doing for the highest good in the moment of whoever's around me and whatever needs to get done. If somebody is hungry, I can make them a meal. If I'm feeling like I'm in a challenging situation and somebody is confronting me with maybe a way that I've made them uncomfortable, then staying present and showing up and, working on how can we clear the communication. All that happens all the time between us, like miscommunications, which are opportunities to further unite. Everything that appears as separation or a challenge or is needing assistance, all that is just an opportunity to fill the gap, to step in and be of service. Okay, cool, there's a separation here. How can I unite? How can I unite? Okay, this job is needing done. Okay, let me give it a shot and do my best. There's infinite opportunities to serve and to be testing out your virtues, your ability to be virtuous in any of those virtues. Honesty, kindness. How can you just do something kind today? How can you do something very honest? Maybe is there a way you've been feeling like you've been dishonest? Is there a way you've been feeling any of the lower vibrations like jealousy, dishonesty, impatience? I invite you to look, where have you not been your highest? And how can you be excited about that and actually use those opportunities as rituals to then neutralize and insert the opposite, which is the virtue that is in alignment with that vice, okay? So if you've been feeling anxiety because you were impatient with somebody, maybe your child or your friend, just call them up and use that as a ritual to neutralize it and insert, your kindness and your expression, your vulnerability, so that they can then embody forgiveness. You're giving them also an opportunity to be virtuous. So then together, when you perform that ritual, you're inviting in all this virtuous light from many angles, and it just grows and grows and it spreads like wildfire. It's contagious. So how can you look at maybe where you've been jealous of someone or you've been impatient of someone or you've been dishonest? How can you call them up right now and make it right and see that as a ritual beyond your little life and see it as a ritual for your bigger life? See how that little ritual is just simply an opportunity, a living ritual and altar for you to affect a much bigger picture. This is healing archetypal energies across time and space when we do this work. So don't forget, because that makes it a lot easier to take it out of the personal stories, to say, hey, this is my duty to do this, because otherwise I'm just sitting here moving through life and allowing it to just rock me. No, I want to take the reins. I want to meet life halfway. And I want to perform these rituals knowing that the work that I'm doing is so much bigger than my small life here. And that I'm healing these energies that are just ancient. I'm healing these things across time and space. I'm doing this not just for me, but for the greater me. Woo! Pew! Pew! So I challenge you. How can you stay aware of the ascension process right now and always, in each moment? How can you invoke that virtuous light? How can you open up to that virtuous light? How much can you surrender your own shit? How much can you relax? I challenge you to relax. How much can you relax and let go and allow the virtuous light to do its thing? Especially when you feel the most vulnerable and scared and embarrassed. How can you, in those moments, say, I surrender? And I'm going to allow the voice of honesty. I'm going to allow the voice of patience, the voice of kindness to step in and move me through the discomfort like a mommy and daddy, and literally walk me through it, because I have that ability to do that within me. I don't need anyone outside of myself to do this. I have everything I need to be vulnerable, but at the same time, simultaneously moving through that vulnerability, holding the hands of patience and forgiveness for myself before I even go to ask for that shit somewhere else. First of all, because if you don't have that for yourself, no reflection of yourself is going to show that to you. It's not going to mirror that back to you. So you have to forgive yourself first. The vulnerability and the scare, the fear, the shame, that can all live there at the same time. You got to start somewhere. But you do have to understand that forgiveness can be yours. You have to know that it's achievable before you approach the situation. And then allow that fear to be there, but still move through it. So I challenge you. How many opportunities can you find to embody a virtuous expression in any given moment? How honest can you be this week? How patient can you be? And I'm not talking about the times when it's easy for you, like you're in your garden having a lovely day off from work and it's like, oh, it's so easy for me to be patient right now. Like, that's not really challenging you. So I'm saying, where's the real alchemy? I challenge you to be patient when it seems like the last thing you can be. To remember this in that moment, that important, transformative moment, opportunistic moment. I challenge you to be it then. And I challenge you, how patient can you be? When you feel like your patience is running so thin and you're about to scream and you're waiting on a line or you're driving in a bunch of traffic or somebody has done you wrong, how quickly can you remember this? And how quickly can you authentically shift your energy from that space of frustration into patience? I challenge you to become aware of this as often and as fast as possible, as deeply and authentically as possible, so that every time you're embodying a vice or you're embodying a lower vibration, you can just as quickly awaken to the remembrance of the virtuous path and say, oh shit, okay, and get right back on authentically. I'm saying going from this feeling of shit to, oh yeah, okay, I got this. Because it's real, and it really happens. So I challenge you to use those vice embodiments, and the sign that you're there is you feel like shit, okay? I challenge you to turn that shit into gold. I challenge you to, especially when you're feeling shitty, those are the only times the alchemy is going to work. So when you're feeling shitty and you're feeling like you can't embody those things, to remember that these archetypes live inside of you, and they're offended when you don't open up to receive them, because we're allies together. They can't live without you, and you can't live without them. So I challenge you to get over yourself in those moments and to remember what you are capable of, and to open up as quickly as possible to transform the energy from shit to gold. Fully trusting that you're going to feel so good right away, and that light will do the work for you. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Look for those opportunities to shift from vice to virtue, and the path is golden. The path and the reward is golden. All right, guys. Thank you for remembering the virtuous path and for following that path, because it always leads back to the place where we meet as one, and in that space, everything is born from. And it's in that space where we can create a foundation for a whole new world to be manifested. So the goal is always to keep reaching that place, and how we do it is by following this path. So thank you for following the path. Thank you for staying tuned in. I'm so excited for Shabbat today, and also for the new moon next week. So I'll see you guys for the new moon. And for this week, if anybody's wanting a private reading, I'm doing full-time private readings now. Is all I do. So my time has opened up a lot. Feel free to reach out, private message me for bookings and for all information, any questions you might have. Woo! Also, guys, I totally forgot to tell you, but this reminded me. Scents and like sensory help right now, like flowers, flower essences, essential oils. Also temperature control, having fans or like little cooling bracelets or ice packs, whatever. All that is super helpful as we move through this fiery spiritual time where the world is literally burning up, these fires everywhere. We move through that into a more watery time as we need to cool down those fires. We need to cool them down within ourselves. We're right now really needing to get in touch with our water element. So however you can calm your senses and soothe yourself and nurture yourself, all those things come into play. Essential oils. This is like a mixture of like a menthol and herbal thing I put in my nose, and it helps me breathe deep. And it's such a small thing, but wow, what a profound support and assistance. So like, do those things, like little things that make you comfortable through this shift. That's the mother. That's the water energy that you can anybody can easily connect to, and nurture the water in ourselves, thus rippling out to every dimension, affecting the waters of the entire world. Healing the waters of the world. If we start with healing our inner waters, then, I mean, really, what's a better foundation? Because if we hit that, we get most of the body, right? We're mostly made of water. So if we hit that first and we really focus on the water element together, which I really feel we have been as a collective, especially with the Amazon and all of the fires going on everywhere within too. We're really uniting, and we're focusing on what we need to focus on. We're really prioritizing correctly, and I'm so proud of us. And so as we focus on that water first, we get a large chunk of the healing out of the way. There will be other things then to work on, but it doesn't matter now. The only thing that matters is the water. The only thing that matters is the first step. So nurture yourself, make yourself comfortable, keep little good things around you, little charms that make you feel good. Bro, it doesn't matter. Anything that makes you feel good. This makes me feel good. So I put it in my nose. I put it on my chest. I do little designs with it. Even, whatever you want to do, be playful with your reality, be fluid, be nurturing. Carry those little things around you that make all the difference. And also, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Drink your water and have salt so the water stays in your body. Magnesium. If you've never heard of Patrick Flanagan's Mega Hydrate, some good stuff right there, So stay hydrated and comfortable as we move through these times of ascension. Don't worry, you'll be fine. You're not crazy. You are, but you're not. We're all in this together. So don't freak out. Don't lose your shit, man. Don't lose your shit. Good things are coming. Good things are coming. So stay comfortable and stay hydrated. All right, guys. Aloha. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.